We currently are living in a time with the most political polarization between the two factions of government than ever before, you know? We got the Democrats over here and the Republicans over here. But in this video, I'm going to be focusing my attention on the current president and candidate, Mr. Joe Biden. Round of applause. Round of applause for Mr. Joe Biden. But since it is election year here in the States, I thought, what better time to post some propaganda than right now? So that's just what I'll be doing. Alright, so this video is going to be a bit different than the other videos that I've posted. Mr. Joe Biden has had a very long and extensive political career spanning about 50 years, or half of his life, which, let's give it up. Another round of applause. And since he was born, he has become older than the country of India, and more importantly, he's older than hula hoops. Oh, and did I mention he's also older than color TV? Round of applause. Another round of applause. But after his shocking debate performance, we are all asking ourselves one singular question. Is Trump really more racist than him? Now, today we are going to figure that out because I conveniently have a tier list set up. And so we will be looking through some of his quotes and sayings throughout his very long career, and we will be ranking them on a nice little tier list. Okay, so this is the beloved tier list, right? And so kind of how we're structuring this tier list. So right here at the very top level, like this is like jail time. This is like life in prison, death sentence, just straight up more than diabolical stuff, all right? So this is the straight to HE double hockey sticks, right? Like not even purgatory, you're past that, man. You're straight there, man. And then under it, step below it, we got diabolical. And so this is jail time. Probably not like life in prison. Definitely not the death sentence, but it's diabolical, right? And then we got just evil, you know, like just Gru level of evil. Like that's just, there's no excuse for that, man, right? And then kind of down here on the two lower levels, we have chalant, which is like, yeah, he just said that. That's pretty racist, right? And then we got nonchalant, which is like, did he just say that, you know? It's like, wait, that was like low-key racist. And this is kind of that. And so we got the clips right up here. And I'll play these videos. And so we're just gonna get to it. We're gonna dive right into it. Okay, so now we're gonna be looking at the first clip. This one's a classic. We'll just let this one play.
Are you going to apologize like Cory Booker
apologize for what?
Cory Booker's called for it.
Cory should apologize. He knows better. There's not a racist bone in my body. I've been involved in civil rights my whole career.
Okay, so that one's a classic, right? There's not a racist bone in my body. I couldn't disagree more. We all know there's a racist bone in his body. All right. And so if we go back to our tier list, I think we're going to have to put that one. It's not evil. The only thing that makes it racist is the fact that we know he's lying. And so it's not nonchalant. Because if we didn't have context, then it wouldn't stand. It's got to be chalant, right? It's a chalant amount of racism. All right, and so now we are currently moving on to clip number 2. And this one's a good one. Let's just play the clip. Let's get it going.
You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking.
All right, so that one, we're definitely stepping up a notch, right? We're gonna be at top tier in no time. But yeah, that one's definitely. It's not top tier, right? It's not straight to HE double hockey sticks. But I don't know if it's diabolical or evil. You know, I'd say, you know what, I'm going evil, right? It's not like jail time, right? If he was a comedian and he were to say that, it would be, you know, be like, ha ha ha, but like, it's definitely evil. It's definitely an evil quote. It's definitely an evil quote. So we're gonna put that one right in the evil tier, and we're gonna be moving on to the next clip.
And by the way, you know, I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach into the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They'd look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
The kids jumping on his lap quote was that, bro, come on. That's crazy. But the cockroaches quote too, that's also insane. Yeah, that one's diabolical. That one's diabolical for sure. Yeah, there's really nothing else to say about that quote. You can't defend that, you know? Better Call Saul couldn't even defend that, right? That's tough. Okay, so now we are currently moving on to clip 4, and from the looks of it, this one's crazy. So let's take a look at it.
Even call centers was rushed overseas in the hundreds of thousands. How many times you get the call? I'd like to talk to you about your credit card.
All right, that's another crazy one, right? The Indian accent, dude. Come on, you just can't say that, right? And I wouldn't say that's the worst thing he said. I'd say that one's evil, right? That one's got to be evil. And so, yeah, we're gonna rank that one at evil. Very short clip, and so let's move on to the next one.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
That one's a classic, right? That one, yeah, that one's diabolical. That one's diabolical. That, you just can't say that. You can't defend that. You can't say that. That's A-tier racism. All right, and we will be moving on to clip 6.
They're gonna put you all back in chains.
That's a life sentence. Enough said about that one. Let's move on to the next one. All right, clip 7. Let's hope it gets better from here.
But I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
That's another classic. That is another classic from the beloved 2020 era of Biden. You know, I don't know if that one's diabolical. I'm going to make the executive decision. We're going to put that one on. Ooh, see, I'm hovering around diabolical and evil, right? I just can't. Oh. Okay, is it as bad as that one, right? Or this one? You know what? No, I'm gonna go with evil. That's just the vibe I'm getting. All right, so now let's move on to clip 8.
I think the two-party system, although my Democratic colleagues don't like me saying this, I think the two-party system is good for the South and good for the Negro, good for the black in the South. Other than the fact that they still call me boy, I think they've changed their mind.
Okay, it did not get better. It simply did not get better, right? We got to put that one here. You know, we got to put that one top tier. That's one of the worst ones, I'd say, and that's from like 1973, man. That's an old dude. Whew. But yeah, fingers crossed. Please be better. All right, so let's check it out. Okay, so this one, there's no audio with this quote. It's just words. And I will say, I'm not going to read all that. What I will tell you is, in order for your child with curly black hair, brown eyes, and dark skin to be able to learn anything, he needs to sit next to my blonde hair, blue-eyed son. That's a rocky road right there. That's a prehistoric quote. That might be the oldest quote known to man. We're gonna go straight to this tier list right here. This one is past chalant. It's past evil. It's past diabolical. It's straight up death sentence, life sentence. It's over for him. There is no coming back. I'm gonna say this like 80 times in this video. Hopefully it gets better. We'll see. I might have to take back that round of applause I gave him earlier. It's looking rough, man. It's looking rough, but let's see the next one.
30 seconds or less. What kind of a chance would a northeastern liberal like Joe Biden stand in the South if you were running in Democratic primaries against Southerners like Mark Warner and John Edwards?
Better than anybody else. And you don't know my state. My state was a slave state. My state is a border state. My state is the 8th largest black population in the country. My state is anything from a northeast liberal state.
Okay, this might be our first nonchalant. Now, I know he's from Pennsylvania. He's probably talking about there, but I know he moved to Delaware in like 1954, which that's a long time ago. But I actually might put this one in nonchalant because it's not like blatant racism. It's just kind of, there's an undertone of that racism. And so he might be coping. This might be a cope. I'm going to put it nonchalant. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. You know, maybe he woke up on the wrong side of the bed.
Not the first sort of mainstream African American who was articulate and bright and clean and a nice looking guy. I mean, that's a storybook, man.
Is that S tier? Is that a life sentence right there, or is it diabolical? I'm hovering over these two. I gotta go top, especially talking about Obama. Clean. Ooh. Straight to HE double hockey sticks. No debate about it. Let's move on to the next clip. We got 2 more of these left. Let's just hope it gets better, man.
My son is Attorney General a year in Iraq, came back, and that's one of the things that he finds was most in need. When he was over there in Iraq for a year, people would come to him and talk about what was happening at home in terms of foreclosures, in terms of bad loans that were these Shylocks who took advantage of these women and men.
That one wasn't terrible. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. And I know that term was kind of referring to that Shakespeare play a million years ago, where like the main bad guy, that was his name, and he was like a Jewish moneylender. And so, you know, I'm kind of stuck where I want to put this one. It was definitely chalant using that term. You know, it wasn't nonchalant. I might go with chalant, okay? Yeah, we're gonna go with chalant on this one. Moving on to the next clip.
Back from Mumbai to go meet with President Xi in China. I stopped in Singapore to meet with a guy named Lee Kuan Yew, who most foreign policy experts around the world say is the wisest man in the Orient. There's not a racist bone in my body.
That's the last one we got. It wasn't the worst thing he's ever said. It wasn't the best thing he's ever said. So that was pretty diabolical. That was very insensitive. We're gonna go with diabolical. This is the last one. We gotta end off on a banger. So that's the end of it. That was a hard sit. He had more major L's than there really wasn't a win. But there's a lot more S tier than any other tier. So make that what you want of it. Glad that one's over. I got my dog with me. Alright, thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for the next video. I know this one was a rough watch, but I thought it would be a good concept. It's kind of my first time trying this, so let me know what you think in the comments, or if you want me to do any other videos, just let me know. Definitely hit that subscribe button, the bell, notifications, all that. So I want to do more content like this. Let me know what you think.